Hello, everyone, and welcome to our week 8. Don't worry if you haven't been able to attend tonight. We understand completely. The world is, lots of different changes. If you're watching this later, please know we missed you. And if you've got any questions about anything you see tonight, just send me an email or a text, or reach out, for that matter, to one of your peers who are on tonight's session, and take it from there. So I'm just going to bring back up the PowerPoint now. We were chatting a little bit before about the fact that Teams is going to be rolled out to everybody, and that's going to potentially make a few differences. Sometime, I'm assuming, maybe towards the end of the 2-week break, the beginning of next term. Exactly how and what, look, I'm not completely sure yet, but whatever it is, what's the line that everybody says? We're all in this together, and we will, travel through those changes together as well. So tonight we are focusing, it's week 8, we're focusing on our digital technology in teaching subject, which every time it pops up, we all, I think, think to ourselves, wow, here we are living real life, ongoing changes in digital technology and access and stuff as we're also learning about it. Hopefully you can see the slides, and you can also see the chat on the side here. Feel free to pop any comments or chats messages in there. And of course, if you need to or want to, tell me to stop and share a point. We are starting a tiny bit later, but we were having a really important and good discussion before. So I'm going to go through this bit a little bit fast to catch up. Any questions, just let me know as we go on. Progress points. We've been around this before. TAFE email address. I was going to say it's maybe more and more significant, your TAFE email address, if it ends up being this migration to Teams happens according to your TAFE email address. And last night with the group who are just starting, so they're only doing their first 2 subjects, I spoke to them about it might be an idea for them to put their TAFE email address in their actual Outlook, for example, their email program, so that they could run a number of email addresses in their normal email program. That may be relevant for people in this group as well. I'm kind of assuming you'd know how to do that if you wanted to. If you don't, that's okay. We can talk about it one-on-one. So just something to think about. What assessments we've got coming up. Got to say, guys, how fantastic have your assessments been before? Everybody is really, keeping on top of them. They're just great. Quite a few people in this group, either in both subjects or one or the other, are either already done 5 fabulous referenced forum posts. A couple of people have said, I've decided I'm only going to do 4 at this moment in time. I'll let you know if I want 5 further down the track. So that's just great. They're 2 assessments that are not due to be finalised for a while, but, people are really over them. On top of them, I should say, not over them. Well, you are probably a bit over them as well, but you're on top of them. This next one, and you might have noticed in the email I sent out today, one of our colleagues has bravely, and I'm very grateful, generously, put their hand up to say, I'm happy for other people to see my online presentation, my video I created of me doing an online presentation as, again, an example. Gone through the process of putting that into the library, but also sharing it because that is our next assessment that is due. So it's nice to be able to see one other example of how that person did that. And for many people in this group, I'm thinking that a number of you probably do online delivery to other people already. That's part of your day job. So if and when relevant and permission from other people, blah, 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 please always, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't do something new just for the sake of doing new. Do it new if you want to, but please know that if you can meet the assessment requirements with something you've already got, let's do that. Because nobody needs to do extra stuff for, no real reason. So this assessment is due 27th of April. So there's still time. There's still weeks. There's no rush. We can talk about it one-on-one if you want to. But the idea is that you create and deliver some kind of presentation that's engaging. It has to use technology in some shape or form. It needs to have, and I say at least 2 people, because when you look at the rubrics, it says people, it doesn't say person. The topic or content is completely open. This is a good one because you do not have to share it with others. You don't have to see somebody else's, and somebody else doesn't have to do a reflection or a review on yours. So you can feel free to do it, as privately as you like. There's no demand or expectation that you do share it. It's not part of the assessment that it is shared for others to view. That's completely up to you. Again, like I said before, I think we're lucky. We've got a colleague who said, sure, let them have a look at it. And I particularly was interested in how they used that Kahoot, I think you pronounce it, quiz within it, and the humour that they had inbuilt in it. So basically the assessment is some kind of presentation. It's recorded, so it's used at that time with people, but then it could be watched later on and used by other people. And then there's that reflection on your own video. In the library at the moment, I've only put up our colleagues' link to their video, because it seems to me reflections on your own video, they're relatively private. I'm not sure what really is gained by having them up there as an example. But hey, I'm open to hearing people saying, no, it'd be really good to be able to read somebody else's reflection on their own video. That would be really handy and helpful for me. So again, with always the author's permission, that might be something we jump back into and upload and provide as well. You can see the criteria about this assessment that's there. Now I've put this up, and I don't want to spend too much time because I'm thinking of the mindful of it, and we will talk about this after the break, because the assessment tools is our first subject back. But I am a bit mindful that over the break people might want to start digging into this assessment because it's quite weighty, it's a big thing. So the idea is about developing assessment tools and the associated documents for a unit. There'll be a series of documents. There'll be the tools, there'll be the mapping document, there'll be the marking guide for the tools, all that kind of stuff together. That'll be uploaded to the Moodle. I am saying to people, if you want to and give me a bit of time, you can zip it and email it to me if you want me to have a look, or chat, or we can jump on one of these. We can chat about it. I can call you. Of course, you can always reach out to your colleagues and friends in the group and say, can we talk about how you're developing that? The criteria is there. Part B is interesting because Part B of it really as a summary report, but it kind of also goes into the next bit about when you validate it or validate somebody else's. So, and I've got to say this is being recorded, I think this is one of the assessment tasks that needs to be rewritten a bit. I find it a tiny bit confusing myself, but bottom line is that overall you're supposed to develop assessment tools that have got a number of instruments, at least 2, to cover a unit of competency. You then write about the process of you developing them, and then the next assessment item goes into the idea of show how you can validate something. Obviously, you're not going to validate your own, so that's where you're going to touch base with a colleague, and you'll validate theirs. Maybe they'll validate yours, or maybe they'll validate somebody else's. So you'll go through that process. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Please don't worry about being late. The meeting's being recorded. No, you're fine. I'm sure everyone's got lots of late staff meetings, so don't worry. Thanks for popping in, even after such a big, event. You'll be able to catch up with the other stuff that's recorded. So again, talking about these assessments, they're actually big assessments. I don't at the moment have access to examples of what other people have done because, of course, the people who did this subject have now graduated. We're not running the next 2 subjects this semester, so I don't have people in the workplace and teaching adult learners as part of my groups. So I don't have easy access to them. It is something I'd like to try and find and be able to track down. I do have access to people who did the workplace and adult learners last semester. So it's on my list, but to be honest, it's a bit lower on my list with everything else. So, but we can talk about it again, one-on-one and all that stuff. Coming back to the other assessments for this particular subject, look, there's a draft of the e-learning project. I think this is really a pretty good and easy assessment. Think of something that could be workplace based, either your workplace or, if you volunteer somewhere or another workplace that you're aware of. That could be some kind of e-learning project, and develop a plan, a draft plan for it. Again, I think of the weighting. It's only 20%. Think of your workload. I always suggest go smaller rather than larger. Always a good idea to, make it there. I'm thinking that.
Oh, righto. So which? Oh, righto. If I had contact, this would be the preferred phone for me to contact you on. Yep. What do you know the number of this?
Tracy, you're not muted. I'm just telling you. We can hear you, which is fine.
Oh, hang on a minute, Philip.
Yeah, mute yourself, Tracy.
Oh, yeah, of course it will.
Tracy, you're still not muted. You might want to mute your microphone. Or we're happy to listen to your convo if you like. Step out, no worries. Sounds great.
Sorry, Philip. I'm on a bloody online call as well at the moment.
Hi, Philip.
Yeah, so no.
I can text you on the other phone.
Yep. No, if you text me which phone you want me to contact you on, if there's any hassles or anything. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry I didn't call you to let you know about that meeting tonight. It was kind of last minute, and yeah, I just didn't even give it a thought. I'm so sorry about that.
There you go. Did you guys just see what I did then? I did not know that I could do that. I did not know that I could mute somebody else. So That's good. That's interesting. I'm assuming you can hear me, and you
Yes,
saw
I think that's the power you have of being the organizer of the meeting.
Wow, yeah, that's good, isn't it? So, poor Philip. Hopefully, he's not offended. He didn't get invited to the meeting, and he can follow up with stuff later on. So, I'll be interested to know if Tracy can unmute herself. So, guys, I'll keep an eye out. But if you see Tracy going, I can't unmute myself, then just let me know. And given I muted her, maybe she can't unmute herself. But it's a good thing to know that we can do that. Boom. Learn a new thing every day. All right, so the assessment for this subject, the next big one coming up is a draft plan. It's something that's related to your workplace. It's putting together the draft plan. Remember, it doesn't actually have to be implemented. So, again, make it, smaller. You can see the criteria. So the idea of this is making a plan, thinking about what kind of e-learning type project could I do for a workplace, and then that's part A, and then part B is take your plan, think more about it, and then do a final plan. So look, assessment event 3, the project, A and B, a draft, a final. I really think you guys are going to be all over that, and it's going to happen pretty well and easy. But again, if you want to have a chat one-on-one, just let me know. The biggest thing about part B is there's got to be something that's different, something that's changed, some development and reflection. So, again, make it easy for yourself when you do part A. Make sure you've got something that in part B you think, I should really change that. So, there you go. That's just a thought for you to think about to do that. All right. So, that's a little bit about assessments. Did anyone want to ask any particular questions about that significant that they would like to ask in the group setting that is going to be recorded? Or anyone want to flag? I think I'm going to be completely lost. I need to have a one-on-one with you, Kath.
Kath, it's Gio here. I just wanted to confirm with the next assessment task with the video, it says that you need to present to 2 people. Is that like, is it necessary? If we're doing a video, it's going to be viewed by whoever can view the video. Does it matter? Is that going to be important that if we don't have, say, 2 people sitting in front of us while we deliver?
It is important because when you look at the rubrics, the criteria 1 says, was there participation / interaction with the participants?
Right.
So, again, to be honest, it's one of those assessment tasks that I'd like some time to review and think about, but I believe that the theory behind it is that it's not just a talking head video. So it's not, here's a video of Kath going, hi everyone, this is how you put eyeliner on, and to my what do they call it? My subscribers watching on my YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. It's not a talking head video. It's meant to be a interactive video. Now, whether that is, here we are recording Kathleen physically sitting with person A and B, and I'm recording Kathleen going physically sitting beside A and B. Oh, look, this is how we write an email. Here we are opening it and doing it that. So what the recording has to show, according to the marking rubrics that I have to mark against, is that somehow there's interaction between the presenter and 2 other people. Well, I say 2 because it says people, not person. So that's what I say. And that we are using technology in the recording. So it can't be Kath going, come out here and I'll show you how to make a cake, because that's not using technology. So it's got to be Kath showing physically to other people sitting beside me how to use a piece of technology, or it is like that example on the Zoom meeting. Here we all are on the Zoom meeting, and I can tell that there's interaction with the people on the Zoom meeting. The other thing that's somewhere in it, I think the rubrics, or maybe in some of the other part of it, description or something, it says this recording that's produced needs to be able to be used both, in real time and later. Those two great words, asynchronous and afterwards. So I'm thinking that it's a bit like these kinds of recordings. It's like I've got people online right now or right beside me right now, and we're doing something with technology, and boom, I can then also upload it, and later on Johnny could watch it and learn something.
That might be a little bit tricky if considering that we're not allowed to interact with people at the moment with this coronavirus business going on.
Well, I think it's going to have to very much be either, for example, if people have got, I don't know, a partner and a semi-adult-ish, 15-year-old kid or something in their household, and you want to do it, me, my partner and my 15-year-old kid or whatever, or it's probably going to
my dog. I don't have kids, and it's just me and my wife in our household.
Or it's possibly going to have to be through Zoom, or this could be like a one-on-one situation, which I encourage you to send me an email going, I'm reading the requirements of this. Even, I know maybe you want to say, I don't want to use Zoom, or I'm not going to use Zoom. But I mean, I think, to be honest, Gio, I think that if you put together a thing that was going to be your basis of your presentation, and if you said to me, Kath, I need 2 people to jump online at such and such a time, I'll be one, and one other person to jump online, and I give you control of the thing, and you go, hello, thank you very much, people, for being here. I'm going to show you something.
What's he going to? I don't understand what he would show them. What's he going to show them online?
I'd have to demonstrate something by sharing my screen, perhaps, and then giving a demonstration, and then asking questions, that sort of thing. Would that be legitimate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
So that would
Write
work.
That one down.
Yeah. And we could record the session at the same time. But that would work.
Yes.
So effectively, we could even use Teams again.
Oh, again, yes, absolutely. And
right.
If this was happening this time next year, you'd probably all, like you said, have access to be able to set up your own Teams meeting. At this moment, as far as I know, you may not have that functionality, but if you do, great, do it. Or you could do it through Skype for Business, or you could do it through any of those others.
Okay. No, thanks for clarifying that, because I was getting a bit worried, thinking, "Oh, am I going to do that?"
Yeah,
I still am worried.
Well, and the one that Amanda did, for example, that was shared. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. So Amanda took part of a small bit of a course. It actually had to be about the Magna Carta. I found very interesting. It was part of a unit of competency about compliance and ethical behaviour and stuff. So she did a Zoom meeting like she normally always does. She had 3 participants who happened to be TAFE teachers as well, and went through her normal training of, let's talk about ethical decision making legislation. Let's first of all do it in the Magna Carta context of that. And then she had this Cahoots, I think you call it. So it was like this little quizzy, testy thingy-go that really they were interactive about. So there were, her plus more than 2. It was using technology. It was using a different technological tool. It was recorded so it could be used by people who were really in the session, but then it also could be used by somebody who wasn't in the session, like me, who watched it later on and went, oh, interesting about the content, the Magna Carta. Oh, interesting about using Kahoot as a thingio. So
is that uploaded to your KZ drive? Is that where that lives right now?
It has been uploaded to the library under there, but also on the email that I sent you for this session, I said in blue, and also, we're so lucky. One of our colleagues has shared our thing. Here's the link to it.
Right.
So
Okay.
I put that in the email for tonight as well, just because I thought it'd be easy to just click on that link and you can access it straight away. But it is also, I've just put it into that library repository concept that is very much a work in progress and just beginning. So
Is that on the
Okay.
Moodle?
no, the
Oh.
library.
Oh, that's the one in your drive.
Yeah, I sent out
Right.
that thing about,
Yep.
and it's only there at the moment just so it can be open for everyone. I do hope and want eventually, I think, to somehow put the library on the Moodle, but I think it'll be our collective, collaborative homepage for the whole qualification DAE Moodle, so that rather than trying to split it up to different subjects, it's like, here is a big library, like literally a bricks and mortar campus library you could walk into and you can access stuff. It doesn't matter what subject you're particularly enrolled in at that moment in time. It's like, walk into a library, here are the shelves based on, like-ish library type stuff. Does that make sense? Not like you can only access this shelf if you're enrolled in this subject.
Are we able to upload like examples of past?
I'm hoping so. I believe so. I've set it up that it's open and that open with a link. So theoretically, but if you go to me, Kath, I've got stuff I'd love to upload there. Then if you give me your best email address that connects to Dropbox as the platform, I will make you 100% an editor, and I will send you a direct link via that rather than just a generic people can access kind of link. And then mate, go nuts. Like, I would love it if some of this group who've already come 3/4 of the way, 7/8 of the way through the program, if you guys want to feel a bit of sense of, participation in that stuff, that'd be fabulous.
Okay, we'll do.
Great. Brilliant. Love it. Okay, good. And, funny enough, as one of your things might be, I'm going to do a little recording on how did I go about uploading some of my past assessments for sharing to the collective library that we are developing. So, again, you might want to do it and even record yourself doing it or not, but you might want to do it once and think, well, that's my plan. And then you might want to say, Geo, quick, Kath, get yourself and one other person on this thing. Give me the rights. Let me record it. I'm going to record that. That's going to be my assessment as well. So do you know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense, like,
Great idea.
yeah. Again, don't reinvent the wheel. If we can make, if we can have ideas that we use for 2, 3 or 4 more purposes, boom, high five. Let's maximize our activities. Like, honestly, we're all got so much to do. All right, I'm very mindful of time, and I'm also mindful that a lot of this stuff will be in the learner guides, which I've been talking to a number of people about and different stuff about it. And boom, we're talking about web conferencing. Well, this is it, obviously, isn't it? I'm going to go through these pretty fast because I'm not going to tell people how to suck eggs. So web conferencing, you know, here we are, we're meeting in an online or virtual space. It is one of those tools that happens at real time. It also can be video conferencing sessions via the internet. I think that maybe 10 years ago, there was a lot more differentiation between, video conferencing versus the idea of web conferencing. I think that in the beginning, there was this sense of, again, that talking head. I am telling everybody information and you will log on to the internet flash and watch me while I tell you information. And then, maybe it was longer than 10 years ago. And then we've evolved into the potential for it to be much more interactive, much more mirroring in many ways, a face-to-face meeting, classroom kind of thing, where it's not that talking head talking at you, but wherever possible, there's more options for that collaborative, communicative, backwards, forwards kind of stuff. It is this. Typical features, look, they're the things that really we know. I think we all know more and more that we have access to and stuff like that. I must admit, I am not. Hi, Tracy, welcome back. Don't worry, you'll be able to see the recording. We're hoping that your colleague is fine and everything was sorted. I haven't used collaborative whiteboards as a presenter very much. I have used them quite frequently as a participant, particularly with global kind of online conferences and stuff. Look, they're good, they're fine. It's a bit like having 20, 30 or 100 people all standing in front of a physical whiteboard. You trip over each other and stuff like that, but it's cool, it's interactive. Polling and third-party plugins like quizzes, funny enough, like Kahoot, which if you see our colleague's example, she uses, and of course, recording sessions. And platforms and tools, wow. And look, this is just a snippet of the different types of ones. So there are more different types than you can poke a stick at. I am so proud of myself that I still have a Blackboard Collaborate room. The thing about Blackboard Collaborate is that generally to use it, people have to download software, although you did download an app for Teams, but some of the other ones you have to download for Zoom. So, maybe that's not so unusual, but some of the differences with some of the platforms is they are purely web-based. I think GoToMeetings, Google Hangouts, anyway, it doesn't matter. Some of them are purely web-based, others are you have to download some app or some software or something to be able to use them. Maybe at another time we'll talk about which ones you've used, what do you like. In the learner guide, there are some interesting examples, predominantly I think from memory from a TAFE perspective, of other TAFE teachers or trainers saying what they use and why. It's Skype, it's Adobe Connect, I think, and something else. But honestly, when you talk about case studies, you guys have your own case studies. When you think about things you might have done online, you might think, oh, that's right, I did go to, one that was this or that or the other. I think Cisco WebEx, from memory, I think that might have been one of the first or an early one, a bit like Blackboard Collaborate. Blue Jeans, I'm hearing a lot of stuff around that. People going, oh, I don't know if it's just the new hip and trendy one to do, but I'm just hearing lots of people going, oh, meet me on Blue Jeans, meet me on Blue Jeans. Maybe they like the name. I don't know. Interesting to see things like Amazon Chime and Uber Conference. So, obviously those kind of big companies, they do stuff because there's a way for them to make money out of it, whether that's by advertising or whatever. So look, given the time, I'm not going to particularly, let's talk about our experiences. We might talk about them together at the end, but I'll just quickly fly through these slides. All right, so the forum discussion starter is the same as it's been since week 5, which is fair enough because it was a very, very big one, about the idea of develop something and then share it with others. Funny enough, I think that I had a conversation with some people and we were talking about this before, about visual literacy. So remember, overall, forum participation overall is like 5, if you want maximum, 5 posts per subject over all the different forum starters. So you might think, well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Do the maths, where your time and effort and energy is worth to do. Boom, 2-week break and stuff. So the other thing I very quickly do want to talk at you about is from Tuesday night. So this group is the group that they're doing their Unit 1 and Unit 2, Subject 1, Subject 2. So they've just started this semester, and when we said 2-week break, blah, 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 they went, oh, no, we don't want to. We're going to really miss these weekly catches ups. Like, we're going to really miss them. And then we had a bit of a conversation about what's happening in the world with social isolation and the virus and blah, blah, blah. Then we talked about the concept of moving to eventually, hopefully by the end of the holidays, this one landing page for all our active DAE participants, whether you're doing subject 6 and 5 and 6 or 7 and 8 or 1 or 2, that there's this communal collective space where people can talk and share and stuff. And that's very much where eventually we'll be able to root or point to or somehow talk about the collective repository of past examples. And also, informally, people be able to put their hand up and go, whatever, I'd like to talk to someone who did this subject. I'd like to talk to someone who did that assessment. For that matter, there might even be someone who goes, I just want to tell people I am a graphic artist and that's what I like, or I'm in the health sector or something else. So much like a common room or a common lunchroom, the idea being that participants in this course overall have a home site, a home place, a home building where common notices can be put out to everybody and the potential of interaction is there. So you might have seen an email I sent out saying that Tuesday's group said, we don't want a break. We'd like to catch up, even if it's just a bit social, have a chat, blah, blah, blah. And they said, yeah, it doesn't have to be just our Tuesday group. Let's open it to everybody. Seemed like a good idea to me. It is completely optional. There is no expectation. I sent out an email that's got a link to a potential online place to vote. I put up 4 options of maybe times. Partners are welcome if they want to sit beside you and chat as well. No idea exactly how it's going to work. I know I won't be doing a PowerPoint. It'll really be just open, collaborative, maybe run around. Maybe it's, 2 truths and a lie, or maybe it's this is where I'm up to in the course. You can see this is a flight of fancy. This is a concept still in the making. So I just want to highlight that for you on that email, put it out there, and that's really it. So I'm going to stop talking in a second. If anyone wants to say anything that they'd like recorded for other people who might be watching this later on, speak now. If not, I'll stop the recording and we can have just a quick chat around that stuff. All right, thanks again, guys. I know it was a bit rushed at the end. I'm sorry about that. And to people who are watching it later on, I hope you're travelling safe and all that stuff. Let me know if I can help. I'm just about to stop the recording now. So if I don't talk or hear from you in the next couple of weeks, have a good break. But if you need anything, you know where I am. Talk to you soon.